Hey guys, it's Quinn, and in episode 6 of the Fundraiser series, we're going to be going old school and taking a look at 1958's crime adventure, The Defiant Ones. Right off the bat, films from the 1950s have always sort of been a lost decade for me. Of course, there's several distinct exceptions, but I have found many of the films in this decade to feel almost aggressively polished, as if you can feel every element that goes into the film just pounding at you while you're watching the movie. The screenwriting is a little too heavy-handed, everyone's hair is a little too perfect. It's hard to explain, but a lot of the films in this decade almost feel fake when you're watching them. However, when you watch The Defiant Ones, and the reason I mention all this is I think you feel the exact opposite. Everything feels natural. And in a story that's deeply intertwined with commentary on race, the genuineness that this film offers makes it not only an enjoyable watch, but a successful platter to which commentary can be made effectively. The film stars Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis, a pair of escaped convicts who, by virtue of the fact that they are chained to one another, must overcome their differences, racial and otherwise, in order to pursue freedom. They're both fantastic in this film. It really cannot be overstated. In many respects, I think it rivals and kind of surpasses the performances of Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale in The Prestige, which is a film that I previously reviewed in this series. When I say that this film offers commentary without being heavy-handed, it is mostly because of how these two were able to interact with each other. Both hate each other at first, and neither are really cordial until the end. I liked that a lot. The reason is because all too often in films that have two characters at odds, there's sort of like one big scene where the characters have a coming to Jesus moment. But in real life, I mean, let's be honest, your thoughts on other people, unless something really insane happens, are usually a gradual build. Especially for the deep-rooted reasons that these two hated each other. It showed a more realistic version of how one's mind can be changed than we usually see in a film, especially for one in the 1950s. Now, a lot can be said about this film, special shout out to the cinematography, but what I want to hone in on, especially in light of the fact that this entire series is part of a fundraiser, is how this film talks about race. There's a scene where the pair attempt to steal food from a small southern town. To avoid detection, the Tony Curtis character, whose name is Joker, he puts mud all over his face so that he appears darker. The townspeople catch them and then proceed to have a long debate about lynching the two characters. Now, I don't want to give much away, but the scene plays out with Tony Curtis painted black and, Sidney Poitier obviously being black in just a way that demonstrates the absolute irony and hypocrisy of the racial tendencies of the townspeople that I think is on par with the last scene to Do the Right Thing for the most powerful scene of any film that I reviewed thus far in this series. It reminds me a lot of what happens in the film 12 Angry Men in terms of the characters understanding that what they're doing is not based in anything that's rational. This isn't to say that this film is perfect. Plot-wise, honestly, nothing really happens in this film, which is okay because the focus isn't on the action. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that, it took away from some of the excitement because of this. Also, there's a female character near the end of the film, which, honestly, I think she's kind of psychopathic, and I just don't buy that someone like her would act the way that she did. From the very moment she's introduced until the very end, she just doesn't really make sense to me. Also, the kid who played Alfalfa was in this film, which kind of freaked me out. I got called Alfalfa once because when I was a senior, a lot of my photos just happened to be the back of my hair was standing up, and so that always rubs me the wrong way. But, these are minor complaints. In all, because of these, however, this film, it's not going to knock your socks off, but I don't think that that's necessarily the intention. It's purposely grounded, and I enjoyed that. So don't expect a modern, Hollywood blockbuster production when you watch this. But be prepared to go on an enjoyable, thought-provoking, a little bit slower, but nonetheless fun ride. This video was sponsored by a resident of LA, California. This channel is committed to giving every American an equal opportunity in this country, which is why all proceeds will be donated to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. If you're interested in sponsoring a future review video, please feel free to fill out the poll in the description below. Thank you for watching, and remember, black, white, left to right, we're all in this together. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.